Well, if there can be no arrangement, then we are at an impasse.
I'm afraid so. I can't compete with you physically, and you're no match for my brains.
You're that smart.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes?
Morons.
Really?
Welcome to
Morons Mince Movies.
I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Uplester, Peñalosa II, and Akko. Get your hands off me, you damn dirty Arturo.
I like it.
Because
Beautiful.
we are mincing the trilogy of Rise, Dawn.
Of the rise of the dawn of the war of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Fucking beautiful, man.
Yes.
That's what we're mincing today. Why, Sam?
Why?
Are we mincing?
Why are we
AKA
mincing?
the Caesar trilogy.
Yes, because the newest film, to say it, Arturo,
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
is about to be released, and we decided to go back to the previous trilogy and, go through it and see, give our thoughts.
Well,
retrospective review.
100%. And hold on, I want to go back a little bit further because Uble, you planned initially 48 different episodes for this.
You guys are very lucky that I was voted out, because my original plan was, let's do an episode on the original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes.
Which
Then
is
let's do an episode. Let's do an episode on the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes, directed by Tim Burton, by the way. And then let's do an episode on this trilogy. And then let's do an episode on the Simpsons theater play.
2-minute segment.
2-minute segment where Troy McClure plays the astronaut Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
And then let's do the build-up to the original, but I was voted out. So we're just doing this trilogy.
I didn't know you were such a fan of all the Apes movies,
Dude,
man.
I honestly, no. I go bananas over these movies. I do, honestly. No monkeying around.
Here we go.
I'm all for these movies,
No
man.
monkey
I feel
business.
like they're all great movies.
They're all great movies.
I feel like they just they
you
stand
surely
out a lot.
appreciate these movies,
I
don't you?
appreciate them so much, and I want to congratulate the directors of these movies, and specifically the motion capture actor who captured Caesar so perfectly.
Dude, Andy Serkis, man.
Andy Serkis,
Yes.
man. My fucking
He also
Gollum
did the
came
voice,
back.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
of course he did.
He was the whole package.
Is Caesar.
But let's start with the beginning. Let's start with the first one, which is
hold on.
yes.
If I may, I just wanted to actually, out of curiosity, see what was your guys' first exposure to the Planet of the Apes as a whole.
So I saw the original movie many moons ago. I can't even remember how long ago it's been. And I remember liking it, but not. I was never really. It was
didn't stand out.
Yeah, it never stood out. I mean, I kind of like the look of the apes in the original films, and the masks and all that stuff, and it's always been kind of funny in that way.
Yeah.
And it's very ingrained in our pop culture, so a lot of the main quotes, like "Get your hands off of me, you damn dirty ape," and like "It was us all along," or something.
You bastards. Yeah.
So I mean, like I've seen the original. I've never been really that much into it.
Just the first film, not any of the sequels?
I saw the Tim Burton version when it came out in
you
theaters.
did?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I saw that in theaters, and I've seen this. I saw the entire trilogy that we're about to talk about as it was coming out as well.
So you have familiarity. My first, to answer your question, Arturo,
Thank
first
you.
exposure with Planet of the Apes, it had to have been The Simpsons.
Same,
maybe
honestly.
via reference,
Yeah.
maybe via some other cartoon, but what stands out for me is the Simpsons reference, and that was, I don't know, producer, pull it up. It had to have been 92 or 93.
Yeah, it's
Dr.
old.
Sayers,
old.
Dr.
It's early.
Sayers.
It's just the great, yes,
Dr.
dude.
Sayers, Dr. Sayers.
Can I play the
Dr.
piano?
Sayers.
Can I play the piano? Yes, but I couldn't before. And they're like, what? And he's like, that right there was, that was my first exposure. And then the Statue of Liberty, half sunken into the ocean, and Charlton Heston breaking down on the sandy
Charlton?
beach.
Charles. Oh, wait, I thought it was Charles.
Is Charlton?
Is it
Charles.
Charlton?
Yeah, it's Charlton
Oh,
Heston.
shit. I've had it wrong this
Charlton
whole
Heston.
time.
Charles Heston.
Oh, the more you know.
His brother, he works at a used car lot out of Pacoima. Anyway,
He's not really into guns as much as
he's not.
Charleston. I mean, Charlton.
But yeah, so that stands out for me, but I don't know where I would have seen it. other than hearing The Simpsons. So that's
Yeah.
my exposure.
I
And then,
think-
I've been a fan ever
1996.
since. 1996 is when that episode
So
came
we were
out.
like
So
12.
yeah, I would have been like 12 years old when I first got that exposure to Planet
That
of
would
the
have made
Apes.
me 5 years old. And
Oh, Jesus
Just
Christ.
fucking
Let's
shit.
stop talking about ages.
no,
But since then, I've been a fan.
Mm.
Since then, I've been a fan.
Have you
Obviously,
seen the original movie?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
really
yeah,
have?
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you were a fan right from the
I
original.
w- the idea... fuck, I don't want to get ahead of
of
myself.
apes taking over.
No, not taking over. But that twist at the end where
He was
you
he was
think-
on Earth the whole time.
You think, where you think that he's on a different planet and you're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
whatever, different planet ruled by apes. That makes sense. But then that revelation at the end where he's all like, no, I've been on Earth this whole time and it's due to the nuclear radiation from the A-bomb that we threw to destroy these apes and then ended up making them, and now we're the minority. And that fucking blew my mind as a child. So I've been on board ever since, and it's always been just there at the forefront, you know,
Yeah.
where it's like, that fucking absolutely is possible. Before I finished the sentence, I was like, it's not fucking possible. Shut
it
up.
is.
Stop talking.
Yes.
But it is
totally
though.
possible. I mean,
It is.
Evolution can
Yeah.
definitely happen.
Especially how
I
they
mean,
portray it in these movies.
Yeah.
Nice
We're-
fucking roundabout.
We're,
Dude, honestly,
we're a
like,
great ape, technically. I mean,
Yeah.
are,
Anyways,
yeah.
So, like, The Simpsons was also my first exposure.
Yeah.
And just that whole thing, and like Dr. Sayus, as we've already referenced.
The breakdancing Dr. Sayers.
Yes.
Iconic.
So, but like I was like weirdly still kind of aware that there was a movie, and I had remember seeing these like people in these monkey in the ape
Right.
outfits and all that, and I remember distinctly not realizing that a new movie starring Mark Wahlberg had come out, but that there were toys.
Oh.
So this is back to an era of, I don't know if you guys remember FAO shorts.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah,
Store.
South Coast Plaza for all
Yeah.
of you around our age.
Orange
that was
County.
that was one of the biggest toy stores I would hit. But I would just stand around and like look at toys because I was always told, okay, pick a toy,
What's happening right
hide
now?
it. so
Let's
we-
go back
hold
to
on,
Planet
hold on,
Telling
I will
us
get
the
there.
story.
I will
Okay,
get there.
we're
I will
building
get
up.
there.
Okay, get there, please.
I was always told, hide it. We'll come back for it later on. We never did.
Oh,
Those
shit.
of you who are in the Hispanic community realize what I mean.
Arturo is like breaking down. I don't know what's going on.
Man, listen.
So, like,
Planet of the Apes
I-
opened up some doors for Arturo, you guys.
It did.
Some
therapy.
flashbacks. Yeah.
So let's talk
Well,
about
once the newest trilogy came about, I was so excited because I was vaguely aware.
Yeah.
So it actually was really interesting going into this film, the first film at least, and like having these like really vague thoughts. And,
Right,
like,
you knew
so-
enough about it.
Exactly. So when all of a sudden things happen, we'll get there. But like when I saw apes on horses, I
Yeah.
lost my shit because
Yeah.
somehow in my subconscious I knew that,
that
was
was
a thing.
that was a memory of
So-
yours. Yeah.
Leading into now the fact that we're discussing the original trilogy. Sorry, the later
the
trilogy,
Caesar trilogy.
the Caesar
Third.
trilogy, and
Yeah.
how great these trilogy were. And
Well, let's,
take it away, guys.
I want
Let's
to
get into
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yes,
100%.
Let's start off
Yeah.
with the first film, Rise of
Rise
the Planet
of
of the
Planet
Apes.
This is
Uh,
okay.
General thoughts.
General thoughts. I liked this movie because of the fact that it sets everything up. It explains. I know that there are some major, I don't want to say plot holes, but there are holes in the plot in the sense that, like this, it's two different things, Sam. It's two different things. You did.
I don't want to say that there's
man.
plot holes, but there's some major
holes
holes in the plot.
There are openings in the plot where there should not be openings, like a hole, if you will. Only in the beginning, where you have this pharmaceutical company
big
that is
time.
developing this cure for Alzheimer's,
Uh-huh.
and they're so lax with things, like the way you would.
Hold on. Before you continue,
Yeah.
I just want to say, so I rewatched all three of these movies.
Oh
I-
yeah, did everyone do that as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
except
No, honestly, did you?
I rewatched all three.
legitimately
Yeah.
watched all three. Yes.
You finished the third one like as
maybe
we were
20
here.
minutes. What time is it?
like
Yeah,
5
like
minutes
maybe
ago.
20 minutes ago.
I finished it. I finished the
In the
last
car
one in the
before-
car
in the
before
car?
I
Okay.
stepped in.
25 minutes ago.
okay.
When
But-
did you finish it, Arturo?
So I'll have you know
Uh-huh.
that I watched the first film.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I
a good
watched
start.
the second film.
Nice, we're on a roll.
And I
Here
saw
comes the third one.
an excellent recap video.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Of the third movie.
God
So,
damn it!
There's a channel they're one of the few I follow called Cinema Wins. And it's not just a recap. He's going through the film, actually talking about all the really cool, like all the things that are deserved to be applauded within a filmmaking perspective. Cinema Wins, check it out, please. I've sent the videos to you guys. None of you have
Probably
fucking seen them.
Sure,
Fucking
no, we have.
assholes. But it's really great, and it really gets into it. Yeah, like each episode, like 20 minutes, so it really dives deep.
So you were up to date at least with
I
what
was,
happened.
but
even though you didn't
But
watch
we've
it.
seen all the
Okay.
movies before.
100%.
But,
Yeah,
we just rewatched
seen all
in
of it.
theaters, actually.
What I
Yes.
wanted to say, 'cause I'm sorry
Please.
for interrupting you, because
you did.
When I was rewatching the first one, I was thinking to myself, I remember this being better.
What?
Seriously,
How
like,
dare you?
The
Yeah.
first movie is not as good as I
It's
remember.
amazing.
The- No,
So now
it's
going back to
amazing.
what Uble was about to say, which was at the
was-
beginning, somehow
what sets it up.
these scientists did not realize that she was pregnant. Did not realize that she gave birth in the lab. Never
Yeah.
realized that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I will sum that up, Sam.
And then the baby's all clean, by the way. Somehow
okay,
it's like,
okay,
it's terrible, Arturo.
Hold on.
It's terrible.
First off.
Terrible.
All movie births are clean. Every single baby in every single movie is born clean.
Not in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes when she has
We'll get there.
Caesar's son and
That was in the
he
wild.
comes out. And so this
And
was,
in the second off,
this was in the
hold on,
laboratory.
hold on.
Free ask for some
And
towels.
it is established that all these scientists are assholes.
No,
first
but
one.
not
but
the
not
one that takes care.
incompetent.
Not the one that
Exactly,
takes
except
care of
James
the apes.
Franco.
No, the other one
the other,
too.
the bearded
Oh,
one,
yeah,
the
the
one that
bearded guy.
spreads
Yeah,
the
yeah,
virus.
he was
cares
cool.
for the apes.
The guy who dies.
Jesus,
And
okay.
then the whole excuse is that like they carry small. And I was like, wait a minute, you've been doing tests on these apes. You're doing blood
sure
tests.
you've done blood
You would have
analysis.
known that
For
she
sure,
was pregnant.
exactly.
For
For
fuck's
sure, you've
sakes.
done all of these tests. That's why I'm telling you.
There must
that
have been
this
some
is
plot
where-
holes. Oh wait, no.
No.
There
Don't
were
fucking
holes in the
blasphemize
plot.
these movies. There were not plot holes.
Sorry.
There were just parts of the plot that didn't have any plot in them. They were vacant of plot.
They were vacant. They were
vacant of plots.
vacancies.
Oh my
There were
God.
vacancies of plot. So like,
Anyways,
holes.
continue what you were saying.
But once you get past that, once you accept the fact that maybe this is a look, I'm sure pharmaceutical companies out there right now, Elon Musk is putting microchips in fucking monkey brains. All right,
dude,
and
they're
do you
way
see that
past
shit?
that.
Exactly,
They're
they're on
way
the humans
past that,
already.
Uble.
Let's
Exactly.
not.
How often is that in the
They've
news?
created the first
How often-
telekinetic person.
Right.
man.
I'm gonna go off on a big ass
but I'm saying-
tangent.
No, it's not a tangent.
Anyways.
Oh, please. Don't talk to me about tangents,
That's
Mr. Theo Schwartz. Fucking traumatizing story about my kids that never had anything to do with the movie. I'm
There was
telling
no
you,
traumatizing.
I'm telling you that the plot holes, for me at least, they don't detract from the movie because there are pharmaceutical companies today like Tesla or like other shit.
This is not
Yeah.
a pharmaceutical company.
They're putting microchips in human brains.
That's not Tesla, you fool.
It's Elon Musk. He is Tesla.
Elon Musk owns the other company.
Fine, you know what I
which
mean.
is
What I'm trying to
Neuralink.
say is that I'm sure there are pharmaceutical
is-
companies out
has
there
given up.
that are doing these experiments on animals and testing
Oh
on
my
humans,
God.
and it's not in the news. So the fact that they were doing it to monkeys wasn't that far fetched for me. Is all I'm saying. It was a bit of a stretch.
That's not the part. I do think the whole
The
setup
baby
with
part,
Caesar was
The baby
was a
part.
little far fetched and difficult to believe. But yeah, I mean, as the movie goes along, it does get better.
Yeah.
The whole story with Caesar and James Franco's character, I think, is
And
very
James
good.
Franco's dad, which is the reason why this whole
Yeah,
thing was
the whole
going
thing.
on.
He's trying to save his dad from
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's.
I mean, yeah.
and
And everything within that is very like it's very cause and effect. Like the only reason why he brought Caesar home is because of Bright Eyes. The only reason Bright Eyes exists is because he was trying to create a cure for his dad
For his
on the
Alzheimer's.
chimps.
He was
Like it
taking it
kept
personal.
coming around
Yeah.
again and again and again.
And
Yeah.
to be honest, James Franco's character isn't that much of a good person at the beginning of the movie.
This
He
is
doesn't
true.
bring the monkey home, a Caesar home, because like
the
oh
goodness
he
of
was
his
good
heart.
nature. Yeah.
he's kind of forced to do it in a way.
Yeah.
guilt tripped into it.
And then he sort of like, gets interested in him because he realizes that, hey, he's smarter than the average ape. And
Smarter than your average bear. Like, that's what I was thinking.
yeah, that's it.
Yogi.
And so he's he starts to be interested in and research him and realizes, hey, the drug does work.
Yep.
And then that's when he goes and steals the drugs and everything like that.
Which was another thing that also bothered me is like how easy it was for him to be able to steal drugs.
Hold on. I mean,
that was not too bad.
some places make it really easy to steal.
Yeah,
shit from.
especially if you're trusted.
The other thing that bothered me about the
Right.
original about Rise was like the villain of the main guy, the main villain. He was very like one dimensional.
I don't know if you want to say villain.
Wait, hold on. Who'd you
owner.
categorize as the villain?
The owner,
Huh?
right?
Who'd you categorize as the villain?
Is the owner's a villain too, but the guy who is the main gatekeeper at the
Oh,
Oh, so
where
now we're
he-
going against
Malfoy.
multiple villains. Brian Cox or Malfoy?
I guess that one.
Malfoy is the one who's from Harry Potter. He's the young one.
Yeah, the young one. The young
blonde
one
kid.
who's just basically
He's an asshole. Apes.
I hate you, apes.
I don't think I hate you. I think he was more of like, you're an animal. Piss off.
Well,
But he's like a total asshole,
on
and sometimes,
purpose.
yeah.
You know, like that was actually speaking on him. I thought it was really interesting how, as his character dives in, he's talking about them very, very disgruntlingly. He's referring to them as monkeys. But the more as it goes on, and as we get to the final part of his life, he refers to him as "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape." He finally recognized him as an
he
ape
does the
because, for the unaware, basically, monkey has a tail, apes don't. So, chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, humans.
The more you learn, Rainbow Star.
So I just
going
thought that was
deep,
really interesting
deep.
how that kept progressing into that point. And I distinctly remember, I don't know about you guys, in my theater experience, when Caesar yells out the word
No. You're getting way ahead of us now.
no,
Yeah,
we're
it's fine,
literally
it's
right
fine.
there.
We're at the
We're
end.
literally right there.
It's fine.
Oh,
We gotta
It's
do three
nowhere
movies.
near the
You're
end.
right.
We're
You're
not
right.
gonna go
It's
near
not
the
the
end.
end. You're
We're
right.
not
It's
gonna
the
go
end.
in
The end
deep
of
into
Draco Malfoy's character.
You're right. You're right.
who's,
He says
Tom
no.
Felton.
He
Thank
talks.
you.
Yeah, Tom
Yes.
Felton. Thank you. Yes, he
that
actually
is that
speaks.
is the most silent I've heard any movie theater in my life. Like
Nice.
everything just
Nice.
sucked up,
Yep.
and everyone's just on edge.
He talked.
And I loved that because that was what that moment like was supposed to bring.
Yeah.
You know.
And that was his.
coming out.
Exactly. That was that first exposure to like fuck this shit, man. I'm not a fucking pet, you know. Fucking humans are dicks.
He's already like changed and
Yes,
and
yeah.
he wants
had
to
already
rebel.
doubled in his intelligence, by the way, at that
Yeah.
point, because not only was it hereditary from his mother, but at that second point, he had already been gassed up when he gassed up everybody else. So he had doubled by then.
I like that. This is where you also get introduced to a lot of the other apes and
Yes.
monkeys
Dude,
that will
okay,
be.
get Koba.
his storyline, by the
Koba,
way, hold
yeah.
on. Within the sanctuary was like a prison
just in that
kingpin.
one. Yep.
Like
Yeah.
the way, okay, what do? You always got to make friends with the biggest, baddest beast
Biggest-
there.
Yep.
Buck, the
Yeah,
gorilla.
the gorilla.
So once he
lets
set him
him
free,
out,
that was his
and that
muscle.
gorilla goes
Who did
crazy.
he take out
Yeah.
afterwards? Rocket, who was basically like the king of the era of the area, and just seeing all these little
the alpha
steps.
male.
Thank you. All these little steps that he took in order to just and
Yep.
the cookies,
He planned it.
the
Yep,
cookies.
the cookies.
Like I just loved seeing that develop.
No, that's so I see.
It's
I
true.
see-
It was the
it
cookies,
is.
Sam.
I'm loving you right now. Just
Yeah.
letting you
Thanks,
know.
man.
So that's what I'm saying is movie one is
Yeah.
really that birth of Caesar.
It's the rise.
Would you say-
It's the rise. Oh fuck!
I was gonna say, would you
Very
say
nice,
it's the
Sam.
rise of
That
the
is
Planet
an
of the
awesome
Apes?
reference.
Fuck you! You got it to before
God
me.
damn it, man! Good job, Sam. I saw you wanting to go for it.
I was so ready.
Your eyes lit up. You were like, "Here's my chance. Here it comes."
I
and
was
then Sam was
waiting.
like, "Rise." And you were like, "Ah, fuck." Anyway, yes, this whole first movie was that, and I loved how they
Yes.
did it. That
was a good
betrayal.
setup, yeah.
Listen, that betrayal that Caesar felt when he realized that he's being abandoned at the sanctuary, and James Franco is just like, I'll be back, buddy. I'm out. And he's leaving, and of course, it's not James Franco's fault. He thought this was a nice place that they took care of the apes,
Yes.
but little did he know Malfoy was there. But Caesar, the heartbreak of like, I want to go home. Let's go home. And James Franco be like, sorry, bro, I gotta bounce. That shit fucking broke my heart. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel something for Caesar. so that from there, that whole transition to getting the rest of the apes on board with him, and then breaking free and just starting that revolution, which is what it was.
Yes.
It was guerrilla warfare, if you will. If you will.
You were waiting for this, weren't you?
If I will.
You were waiting for that.
Honestly, that came to me
No,
right now.
Shut up.
that came to me right now.
No.
Well,
Still,
when
really
you're
good.
when you're doing this video, I want you to put like a counter for how many fucking puns this video is gonna have.
There's no way that's even possible.
Yeah, just
All right,
like,
stop.
every time it should be like a bell, bing. It's like one.
We're already like at 12.
Yeah. All right. Enough monkeying around. Listen, what I'm trying to say
You're gonna
is
make me
that
go bananas.
is all right. No, what I'm trying to
Motherfuckers.
say is that rise, that fucking.
It's like bread rising from it's like a loaf of bread.
If we want to be able to do equal amount of time for all
Okay.
three movies,
Wait,
this is where we end.
Yeah. But just a couple
So,
of things I want
yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
Even though there's some bad story elements in this movie, but I do think that the rise of the apes
Yes.
and the battles at the end and going into the bridge and what happens and all that there
And
is
the
really
fog
good.
Under,
There's-
gliding underneath the bridge.
there's very good
lounging.
spectacle.
Yeah.
It's very good character development of Caesar.
Yes.
At least they do Caesar really well in the first movie,
Oh,
even
really,
though the
really
human
well.
characters are not as good as the ape characters. And I think that follows on throughout the trilogy, to be honest. But
Yep.
On purpose.
yeah. Towards the end of the movie, I still think it's a good movie. When the movie ended, I was like, man, I remember this movie being better. And then I realized this one was not directed by Matt Reeves. And
It's
then
the only one. Yeah.
and then I was, oh man, like you can really tell the difference.
Yeah.
Because then I started
this
watching Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. By the way, I watched all three movies like a span of 2 days, rewatched them.
Nice.
So it was like Rise and Dawn were like back to back, and
Yeah.
then I saw War the next day.
Yeah.
So when Dawn started, and
You
just
felt
the tone. So this is I'm tossing it into that. The tone of Dawn is so different.
Way.
And you can just tell, like, right away, the
Yeah.
quality has got the whole other
Yes.
level. And there's not all these holes of plots that the first one
You can
had.
say
Plot holes, if you
You can say
will.
plot
Yeah.
holes for the second one.
And I really enjoyed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. In fact, I would say out of the three, I think that one's the best one. In my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'd argue objectively War is, but Rise holds a very special place in my heart. It's the one that launched everything. It had that hope at the very end of the
Yeah.
movie. Everyone, like all the apes escaped to the redwoods, which was their only plan.
and
that was
real
their
quick-
only plan.
Real quick,
But-
before
Yeah.
we continue with Don.
Yeah.
In Rise, I don't know if you caught the Easter eggs where he's watching the news and
Oh,
he's talking
yes,
about the
yes.
spaceship
yeah,
bounces,
that gets
Yes.
lost.
and then he gets lost in
Yep.
space.
So that one.
And they've never, and
Yeah.
they
They
haven't
never referenced
referenced
it.
it
They
again.
haven't referenced
there
it
were
yet.
so many things I loved in that, and it was again that weirdness of like I knew these were
Yeah.
referencing other things.
But you don't know it from
Exactly.
Familiar, like, from
the fact
Well,
that
they're
Caesar was
setting up-
playing with the Statue of Liberty, like
Yes.
little like
Yep.
buildings
Yeah, they were
small,
nods
like there were
to the
so many
original.
nods.
So many
Like the
nods.
first time they read, like the horses appear on the when the cops were on horseback. I'm like, wait a
Yeah.
minute,
Here it
wait a
comes.
minute. Why do I
Yeah.
know this in my
Yeah.
subconscious?
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay, done.
But hold
Okay.
on, hold on. I just want to say again, Rise ended with that hope of like, oh my God, they just got to the redwoods. This is all they wanted. So like that's why it really holds a special
They
place
wanted
in
to
my
be
heart.
free. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like seeing Caesar grow up, and as we move into Dawn and War, like I think it's very rare, personally, seeing a trilogy that is mapped out by different people, yet has such a great story arc that keeps developing over these films for its main
Yeah.
character. When
Yeah.
you have a passing of the torch when it comes to writers and directors, that doesn't always transcend into the next film.
Yeah.
But within this trilogy,
does.
it did.
Yeah.
And I really, really loved that.
I think the Dawn is just a major step up from the first one. After rewatching them, it's like you can really tell
Yeah.
the difference if you watch them back to back, like I did. And
Yeah.
so the first one ends with the explanation of how we didn't get into that, but how humanity
That's
gets
right,
wiped
the
out.
virus.
So I mean, James Franco's character, he wants to go back into the lab. He needs a stronger version of the virus because the original virus are
Starting to
his
wear off.
dad is
Yeah,
starting
wears
to wear
off.
off.
Yeah.
His dad's
Yeah.
Builds an immunity.
immune
Immunity,
system
yep.
has started to fight back and
Yep.
take it out. And so, but that ends up being a mistake because what he'd end up developing is a virus that ends up wiping
simian
out the
flu.
entire human race.
COVID-17.
I was gonna say, yeah,
COVID-17.
Did rewatching it?
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Well, okay. Did rewatching it past pandemic do anything
dude.
for you guys?
It's
Yeah.
the intro where it's like doing the quick flashes of all
Dude,
the news to
just-
catch you up.
The
Well, at
post
the
credits,
end-
no, the,
at
yeah,
the
the
end of the
post credits
first
of
one.
Rise, where it's like doing the airplane thing, linking
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
got to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No.
So yeah, and so we start off with Dawn, and it's like 10 years later,
Yes.
10.
I believe.
10
right?
Winters, correct.
Yes.
By Maurice.
Yes, 10
Maurice
Winters.
establishes
Yes.
it. Yes,
So
he
10
does.
years later, and
Maurice is
humanity
the orangutan, by the way, who's awesome.
You know,
Yes,
I liked
Maurice.
it. Sometimes they call him
a space cowboy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they call him the gangster of love.
But most of the time they call him Maurice.
Maurice.
That's for all of you out there that know that reference. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, Maurice,
Wow.
who he met in the first one, he's the orangutan.
Yeah.
I loved him, man.
Yes.
Maurice is one of my
Maurice
favorites.
is great. So, what I loved about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is that it establishes the society of the apes and everything that's going on. It spends a lot of time with the apes, and there's no dialogue. There's just sign language
There's
going
a lot
on.
of sign language.
And it reminded me, I had forgotten how focused the second one is on the ape society and how it develops it. And it reminded me, like, our conversation about, sorry to bring up Godzilla versus Kong, or the recent
no,
Godzilla
please.
Kong, and how
Yes.
I enjoyed those minimal scenes in that
Yeah,
movie
where there's
about,
no
like,
dialogue.
the apes. And I was like, this is what they could have done. I forgot they already did it.
You're not wrong.
They already
Yeah.
did it, and it was
Yeah.
great. And I truly enjoyed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Dude, yeah, 100%. Like, I'm going to piggyback off it just because, like, the idea that, like, yes, Caesar can talk, but they didn't overdo it.
yes,
And you
it
could,
was a
you could
slow-
tell it
Yeah.
takes a lot out of them to even speak.
Yeah,
So
that
when
I
they
liked.
do, it means so much more
Yep.
Yes.
in those instances.
Yep.
Yes, and I loved how that had that progression throughout these films.
Yeah.
Especially
no,
in
man,
Dawn.
I was all down for that. The especially the sign language with the other apes that couldn't speak. I mean, that shit was fucking. The human cast I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, Gary Oldman is in this. I think
Oldman,
I think the human
For like
cast
5 minutes.
No, he's in
he's
it for a
excellent.
good amount.
He's in it for 10.
And you have
He really has 2 scenes.
Felicity is in this. She was
What I like about Dawn
Felicity.
more than
Is it-
anything.
No, it's not Felicity.
Wasn't that
Is it
her?
Felicity?
Yeah, it's Felicity.
Yeah.
Carrie
I,
Russell.
yeah, okay, yeah.
What
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to say about Dawn that's different from for both Rise and War is that there really is no villain in Dawn.
There
it's
isn't.
Koba?
Koba,
Well, no, okay.
Koba
Okay,
is a
okay,
villain.
wait.
Koba
That's
is a
true.
villain, yes.
No, like
but it's not
Yeah.
that he's like wants to be. I mean, in the end, he's kind of like he's
It's
bad
all-
and he's to
so
be stopped. but
it's a variation on that term. All it takes is one bad day. All it takes is one bad ape.
Nice.
Like,
yeah.
so no, but like what
but-
this film does present, and it's scarily how real it is. Like all it takes is like one person that's like power hungry or revenge worthy or just wants something to blame that fucking dispels the entire society.
was
and
Koba
everything
really
else.
power hungry though?
No,
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
The
That's
thing
what I'm
with
saying,
him
though.
is that he
was seeking revenge.
He was getting revenge. But here's the thing. I think what really turned him is the confrontation with Caesar that happens after he goes with the purpose of protecting Caesar because he doesn't trust the humans obviously
Right,
for
yeah,
reasons
right.
because he was a lab
Yeah.
animal and he was
Human
tortured and everything
work,
like that.
As he's pointing to all his scars,
Yeah,
human work.
Yes, exactly. And so he goes and he's rightfully so. He sees that there's all these guns and everything like that. He's going back to warn Caesar, but Caesar is so wrapped up
Trusting.
in you know what's going on with the humans back there. We're trying to get the dam to work. We're
Yes.
kind of going through the plot a little kind of. Hopefully, you guys have seen these movies.
Because we got.
I
10
mean,
minutes
one
left
would
for this
hope.
one.
Yeah, you're not watching if you
Yeah.
haven't seen his movies.
Exactly.
Please watch these
And I
movies.
think what turns him is he goes to Caesar. He's trying to tell him, but you know things he doesn't
guns.
know really how to tell him. He ends up insulting him. They end up fighting. Caesar basically humiliates him by kicking his ass.
Yep.
And I think
And
right
the one
there.
the one guy that Koba was with is like, should we tell him about the guns? And Koba's all like, nah.
Yeah, that was after.
Oh,
but I think what
Rocket's
happens
son
in that
Ash, I think it
scene,
was.
what happens in that scene with Koba is that the only person or ape that he trusted, the only friend he ever had was Caesar, really, that one that he looked up to.
Yeah.
And now this person has, made him feel exactly like the humans may have made him feel all his life.
Yep.
So now it's like, fuck Caesar. And so that's when he really turns into a villain. But he's kind of a sympathetic villain in that sense, although all the things that he ends up doing later on takes away that sympathy because he ends up doing some pretty shitty stuff to his own people,
Yeah.
But what I love about it is, again, the villain is not so clear cut as it is in War and as it is in Rise, and I just enjoyed the whole dynamics of everything that was going on with the apes and Koba and Caesar and how it built from the first one too.
Yeah.
And the way I saw
Garnet.
it, the way I saw it was that apes and humans are very much alike in that sense of like dominance, of needing to be the alpha of the group or the pack. And as soon as Koba saw that Caesar was no longer that alpha, as soon as Koba interpreted Caesar's sympathy or passive with the humans, he saw that as weakness. He saw that as like, this guy is not fit for power. I need to be, and that's very human.
Yeah.
That's a very human trait to have, which is if you're in a group of people and the person who's supposed to be your leader is now showing signs of weakness, your first instinct is like, we need to take that person out and replace him with someone that is stronger and willing to do what is necessary. So I really enjoyed that sense that this whole movie was about the difference between apes and humans. Caesar's commitment to apes are better than humans. Apes not kill apes. That was the whole message of this movie, which is we are better than humans, but no, we are alike in the bigger sense of it is because humans evolved from the primates.
Yeah.
So there is that just whether it's genetic or inherit or whatever it is, it's that the need for power and the willingness to do whatever it takes to have that power is not just for humans. Yeah, I know. My voice went really high on that one. Thank you, Arturo, for noticing that.
You're
to
so
have
passionate.
that power. Bing. It's not just specific for humans. It's for primates and it's for all other species that are at this level. So that's what I really stood out for me in Dawn.
Go for it. I'll let you talk.
Cool.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Dawn definitely, I agree, did have a step up in terms of filmmaking quality.
And
it was very evident, and just the direction we were heading in, it got much darker as it kept going. To me,
the visual effects
the
too were like
Yes.
another step up. Again, if you see
Yeah.
these things back to back, there's such a big difference. I mean, it was a 3-year gap between
and even
the
then,
first
they
one and the
still hold up, all of them. Like
I think the first one, there's some with the visual effects. It's
yeah.
a little
The
weak
first
at
one-
times.
The first one was praised for his visual effects.
Yeah, and
thank
for
you,
its time,
thank you, Noel.
for its I was about to say for its time, it was very good. But
Like
when
in
you
the
look
90s.
back
Still
at it,
awesome.
when it comes to Dawn and
Still
War,
awesome.
it looks
No,
very realistic.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, man.
In Rise, you can
stepped it up
see some
every
of the
time.
yeah.
I feel personally, maybe personally, the only nitpick I had with Dawn was I have such a loathing for tropes of that one character who's so hateful, who needs someone to constantly blame, who's so trigger happy, who leads to the death of all the people around him because
That
he's
was
such
the
a
human,
fucking
that one
asshole.
guy. Yeah.
Carver. Like
There
it's
you go,
it's so
Carver.
one dimensional. It's so overdone.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking tired of it.
How
I
come
fucking
you-
hate people like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I agree. He is a one-dimensional character, but thankfully they get rid of him pretty quickly.
they did about halfway through.
And it's
Yeah.
not really. He doesn't really cause the
Anything.
main issue.
No, I know. Like it's
It's
just
Koba who does the
Koba.
main
Yes.
thing that causes the whole war to happen.
I
So,
still blame Carver.
Unlike the first one, which you were like telling me, oh, I'm being so hard on it. That other guy is so one-dimensional. The guy who's in the sanctuary, who's just like hating on the apes for no reason.
Malfoy.
Yeah, he's a
he has
douchebag.
no
He has a
backstory
name.
whatsoever. He
No,
just hates the
Malfoy.
apes and
Yeah.
all this stuff.
no,
Like
but
that.
for me, it's the fact that Carver literally said, "I need someone to blame."
Which
Like the fact that you're wrapping your whole identity over who you need to hate. I hate that
yeah.
personally. And that's a much bigger topic. That's a much bigger thing of me, reflection of the real world and the issues I have with people.
I will defend Carver a little bit. Because there is a scene, at least, unlike in Rise, where you have this conversation and he's talking about what happened, during the pandemic.
And they're going back and forth.
He's saying the reason why this all happened was because of the apes.
But then you have Felicity says you can't blame them for it. It was created in the lab. And he's like, well, I still need someone to blame. That is my issue with his character.
Yeah,
he's
but
just
there are
looking
humans
for someone.
there are humans like that who are ignorant and just
I
want to.
fucking hate it. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the movie. I'm saying I have an
accomplish-
issue with the trope. Is all.
But it's not a trope.
It is a fucking trope.
Arturo, if it happens in real life,
It's still a fucking trope.
it happens in real
because
life.
those people are fucking one-dimensional as fuck. And
But
it's
you
so
hate
fucking annoying.
it happens
They ruin things for everybody else.
But it happens in real
And he
life.
said it in a whisper voice, so that means it's true.
It means it's serious. People like that actually exist in real life. For me, a trope is things that fucking you never see in real life.
No, tropes happen all the time.
No, tropes
That's
is something
the worst part.
it's been done over and over again,
Yeah.
like
In
a
movies.
specific
No,
character,
in
in
real life
stories
too.
or whatever.
Stories and movies. Okay,
No,
so
you-
I guess I digress.
Life-
Let's
life
continue with the
imitates
film.
art.
All right.
Dawn
do we
and-
say,
Dawn and-
Wait,
real quick,
anything
hold
else
on.
you want to say about Dawn?
Yes. Again, I loved the character progression.
Yes.
Again, Caesar's the
was
role
huge.
that he has in this film of being a protector, but he also has to become this general, and you get where Cole was coming from, which is the saddest part.
Yeah,
you do. And the steps that he takes, the manipulation, which I mean, it's like the evil genius. He kills Caesar. He burns the village. He blames humans.
Blames the humans.
That's what leads to everything that he actually wants to do.
That was very smart of him.
It is. That's the scary part of it.
Yeah.
And it's really well done. Toby Cabell, who was his voice actor and motion capture, who also was Kong in Skull Island, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah.
By the way, the visual effects on Koba were magnificent.
Yeah, man.
It's
They
just
were.
like
Every time I saw him,
can't believe that's
the pain-
CGI.
the pain that he went through
Yeah. You see it.
transcended to me. Like I felt it.
Magnificent.
I felt it. The scars, the burns, the
eye,
eye.
yeah.
Yep. I
Again,
felt it, man.
human work.
Yeah, that
it's,
scene.
Yeah.
Oof, yeah.
I do want to mention before we move on is what I also liked about Dawn, and I'm surprised you didn't bring this up, is the family aspect of it, which is introduced
yes.
in this movie.
Is
You have the wife
Queen
who's sick.
Cornelia.
Yeah, you have yes,
Yeah.
yes. She's sick after giving birth to Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who
struggling.
comes out, and you know that she's in pain, and there's
Yep.
obviously if anybody would have been around, they would have noticed she was giving birth and things like that. But
no one was there.
yeah. I guess in the lab. But anyways, this family aspect is
Yes,
introduced, which
yes.
you have the older son, by the way, whose name is
Blue
never
Eyes.
mentioned. By
Blue
the way.
Eyes.
Oh, it's Blue
It's
Eyes.
Blue Eyes.
Blue
Blue
Eyes.
Eyes.
Oh God.
Whose name is mentioned.
Yeah, never mind.
Multiple
I thought that was a
times.
nickname. And I thought he had like another name like Dave or something.
Yeah. Miguel.
Well,
Yes.
that's another thing I'll just add on is yes, you start. I feel because at this point there's so many ape characters that it could get easily to get lost.
Yeah,
But just the
there's
simplicity of establishing of the beginning where Blue Eyes gets scarred.
Yes.
Because of the attack with the bear, it
Yeah.
immediately lets the audience know, okay, that's
Blue
his
Eyes.
kid.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how I always knew because
Yeah.
he had the scars. Yeah. And I just again, I just think Dawn introduces so many awesome
Yeah,
elements
man.
about
Yes.
the society
Yeah.
of the apes. You got the family aspect, you got the power struggles,
And
and
then
you
you-
got
just the
Caesar's
yes,
development of
and-
the character trying to be a leader and, how best to lead his
and-
people.
Yes, and that tragic
all happens
sadness
in
that
Dawn.
all they want is peace.
All they want
That's
is to have a
all
home.
they
yeah.
want is peace. And to quote another anti-hero / villain / complicated character of so many different levels,
Mobius?
peace was never an option. Magneto.
Oh, Magneto. Oh, so close.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Arturo.
Arturo is not taking shit from anybody today.
I'm sorry, dude. Magneto absolutely said it right.
Thank you.
Peace was never an option. I'm so sorry that I ruined that moment because that would have been fucking delivered awesome. The camera would have zoomed in on you.
Yes.
When you said peace was
It's
never
still
an
gonna
option.
zoom in on him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Only it's gonna show his reaction to me saying Mobius, like an idiot. God damn it! I'm sorry. I am the way that I am. But yeah, peace was never an option, man.
A couple other things before we move on. I did like the human characters here a little bit more. There wasn't this whole like let's just go kill the apes type of mentality,
and that's
they were when the war happens, they're really just defending themselves.
They're just trying to survive.
From their perspective, they're defending themselves, and there's it's perfectly reasonable why
Gary Oldman just
wanted
wanted his iPad to turn on.
Yeah. Well, because he had his family pictures on there,
or whatever it's called,
which was actually good character development. Again,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen,
in Rise, you have such these one-dimensional human characters, and you have in Dawn these human characters that get moments that you start. There's something about this character that I can get into.
That was the first time I was exposed to Jason Clarke, and he's very underrated, I feel.
Who's Jason Clarke? Oh yeah. Jason. Was he the human being, the main human being?
Yeah, he's the guy who goes and
who Caesar calls friend.
There you go. Yeah, this I think was the first exposure that I had to him, and I've enjoyed him ever since.
Yeah, he's been great.
I wouldn't be able to tell you what movies I've seen him in, but I do enjoy him whenever I see him. But yeah, no, I really wanted to get to that part too, which was the human aspect.
Yes.
Which is, these are just a bunch of humans. This is still early on, this whole pandemic.
No, it's
fallout.
10 years later. It's not early on.
10 years is still a long time. When you look at how bad society has fallen, 10 years is still early on, man. 10 years is still enough to where it's like, we're still adapting. Sam, are you going to tell me that after 10 years...
the survivors are still trying to figure themselves out.
Exactly. That's what I mean, is that it's only been 10 years since society has collapsed.
Yeah.
And it's not something where you can be like, 10 years, that was ages ago.
I mean,
like things
that's a new generation already.
Think about it. Things from 2014 to right now, are you going to say, that was 2014, that was ages ago?
Man, so much has happened in these 10 years.
Exactly. So much has happened.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
You would still consider...
You count your years by superhero movies, don't you?
He does. You would still consider this to be relatively early in the sense of...
Endgame was 5 years ago, guys.
What I'm trying to say, to wrap it up, what I'm trying to say is the human aspect of this movie felt real. I did not hate the humans.
Yes.
I actually, it made it more difficult to assign blame or to choose a side. I wanted Caesar and his apes to make it, but I also wanted the humans to get the dam to work, to get some electricity, to get society going again. So it was that made the whole movie just even better. All right, that was
awesome. Let's go on to war.
War.
So, to set up war.
What is it good for?
To set up war, the humans have been trying to get contact with anybody in Dawn, and they finally do. And they realize that there's some people up north, some soldiers.
The remaining of the North American military.
Yes. So, and this is sort of mentioned in Dawn towards the end of the movie, which is a great setup. And then we kind of fast forward again a few more years. I believe now it's been 15 years since the pandemic. And the war has been going on, right? But now you have these soldiers from the north who are much better trained, have more guns.
Now they're fighting back.
Yeah, and Caesar has actually been has retreated into his hideout and has been doing guerrilla warfare with these soldiers. Literally, though.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
They've been
both literally and figuratively. Why are you giving me more?
I want to hook you up.
Man, that is a very nice gesture.
Yeah, it's very nice.
What a nice.
So take it away, boys.
I loved how a war opened up with the titles and just bringing us up to speed. I personally am a big fan of that because it's like get rid of the clunky exposition.
Yep.
Honestly, there's so many movies that it gets detracted because of it.
Yep.
So the fact that we had that and then they had the red letters in red bold of
of the titles.
Yeah, I love that.
The dawn, which brings us to the war. Yeah. That was great. I loved that.
No, yeah, man.
And and then it was a very natural progression. Right, it's a good one, right? It's good. Yeah, it was a very natural progression from Dawn into War. Again, we had the same creative team with Matt Reeves being behind the wheel.
Yes.
And it really showed.
Yeah, he continued I really like the third one as well. Not as much as I like the Dawn, but I really think Dawn is exceptional, and I think War is very, very, very good. Yeah, and it's a good conclusion to Caesar's story.
Absolutely.
And his entire arc from rise to dawn to war is just
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
It starts off with him losing his wife and his son.
Oh.
Which goddamn
Oh
that
my
hurt, man.
God. Yeah, dude.
And Woody Harrelson. I mean, I'm a big fan of Woody. I
I've
love my
never
Woody.
hated him more.
I also like Woody.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
and that's great.
Yeah.
That shows his versatility as an actor. Like,
Yeah, man. Natural Born Killers to fucking
Venom.
this to Venom. Yeah, Carnage.
Cheers.
Nah, man. Yeah, Cheers.
Cheers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's versatile.
Star Wars Solo.
If ever there was a versatile
Hey,
actor, Gary
Give me a
Oldman,
Woody
that
any
Woody
night of the day, any
Yeah,
time of
You'll
the day.
take it.
man,
Yeah,
I'll
you
take
will
it.
take your
as
Woody
you,
any
as
night.
you should.
I will take my Woody in and around my mouth.
The addition of him and the whole what's going on, which is basically them trying to specifically now target Caesar. I feel like that's where it starts. Is they went there with the specific mission, which is to kill him. They failed. They killed someone that matters to Caesar, and now that starts off this whole movie, which is I need to go out and find the fucking colonel who was responsible for this. And there's an adventure along the ways.
I mean,
The real story is the friends we made along
The friends he made along the ways.
yes, it's
A mute girl, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
A better talking ape.
I would say like an
He was
autistic
so
ape.
awesome.
Yeah, he was like an
It was
autistic
so
ape.
awesome. Was it bad?
It's Bad Ape.
Bad Ape.
Bad ape.
Yeah,
that's his
I
name.
love
He
him,
was
man.
great. He was so much more the comedic relief. He
he's
was
like,
there was layers to him.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
It reminded me of the service lady from Family Guy.
Yeah. No. We don't do that.
Oh no!
Yeah, no. I really
You should
enjoyed him.
supply your own pie and salt. Oh
Yeah,
no.
no. Yeah, no. That. Fuck, man.
Well,
This entire movie.
real quick, just the introduction of Bad Ape alone and the realization that he comes from, because I mean, yeah, it's Planet of the Apes, but we're really just in the Bay Area of the Apes.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
whole movie.
And the
This whole
fact that he
planet.
comes from somewhere else, really, I mean, we're going to find out in this upcoming film, perhaps. Like, how did these things develop in the rest of the world? You know, because he's
Yeah.
clearly of higher intelligence.
Yeah.
He's on Caesar level.
Yeah.
You know,
How
so
did that happen?
Exactly.
I was really hoping they
That-
would explain that. They
Well,
didn't.
he kind of does. I mean,
yeah,
Bad Ape
kind
kind
of.
of does.
Yeah.
In his own way, because he starts saying like, you know, the humans started dying and the apes started getting smarter. Well,
yeah.
I think what was going on is, right, as this virus is spreading around, it's also spreading to the animals, and the apes are getting it. But to the apes, it's actually helping them evolve.
Enhance.
And it definitely implies the fact that like the more humans die around them, the more the apes get smarter.
Yeah. Because the virus is
Which
Yeah.
actually
Now the
is
humans are
a
regressing.
foreshadowing to the later events of this film.
Yes.
yes.
Which is the humans regressing. And I really like that touch because the Charlton Heston movies, the humans in that movie that he encounters are primitive. They're more animal-like. And back then, you think, oh, this has been going on for so long that the humans forgot to human. And
Humans
the apes,
forgot to human.
The humans forgot to human, so now they're more primitive. They're more ape-like with grunts and not really being able to
so
speak.
offensive to the ape.
But you realize, they'll understand. You realize
Son of a
that
bitch.
with these movies, it's a side effect of that same virus that made the apes intelligent, also brought back the humans a peg or two, which is like, okay, it's just that cherry on top that adds more of an explanation of like, okay, now those Charlton Heston movies make sense, because back then you would be like, how if humans kind of continued to survive, you would expect the mother who raised the child to speak to them, and communicate.
I mean, language just get lost. Language just get lost over
they
time.
don't.
Yeah, of course they do.
Like this is
Never happened.
That never happened.
Never.
Never.
We've been speaking
Remember
English
Latin? Remember Latin?
since the caveman years. We've been speaking English.
This is a bit of a sidestep, but like the fact that these films could still technically be within, I don't know if it's been established, but within the continuity of the Charlton Heston films.
I think they
Like
can.
that's the wildest thing to me.
I think
Like,
what this next trilogy is supposed. I don't know.
I was saying,
really
nothing about the Caesar trilogy prevents it
No,
from
it
actually
doesn't.
being in
doesn't.
continuity.
It
With
doesn't.
everything
Yeah.
that leads up.
That's what I liked
Especially
about it.
at the end of war, them seeking a desert.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep. They're seeking the desert. They're more intelligent, and there's still the open question of that spaceship that got lost with
Yes.
the astronaut
Still,
in part 1.
yeah.
That could be Charlton Heston, who's
It's
out there
literally
in
him.
space.
It's literally him.
And all
It
this
is Ben
happens,
Hur.
and then
It
he's
is
gonna come back.
Moses. He is out there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yes, right.
Well, I don't know what you guys know. Okay, sorry. Did you guys want to do more on war? 'Cause I
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
wanted to.
we've barely even
No,
scratched
no.
it.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna start
So-
touching on the next ones, but
the next ones.
the next
one.
set of movies.
Oh, I see,
Kingdom
I
of the
see.
Planet
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the Apes. Yeah.
I mean, we're not there yet, but it comes out this week.
We kind of like went through it pretty
there's the
quickly,
human
but there's
child. Yeah.
there's a child,
There's a-
which
Nova.
is which they encounter.
Nova.
And where they get
That's
the
the
first
first-
signs of what's
yeah.
going on with the what's
Yeah.
going on with the virus now as it's evolving and making humans lose their language and so on.
The ability to be verbal and speak.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
communicate,
yes. So all of that is good. I like the dynamic that's going on there. I like that it's more focused on these 4 apes, and now you have like your main character apes.
Yeah,
You got
your
Caesar,
main- yep.
Maurice, Rocket, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, and
But, yeah.
and
Yeah,
also
bad
the
ape.
gorilla who ends up sacrificing himself. For
Luca.
Caesar.
Not Luca.
Luca. Yeah, I think it is
Luca.
Luca.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Luca,
yeah, yeah.
There was
Yeah.
Luca.
Man.
There was George. There was also Red Donkey.
Red Donkey is the traitor. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, and
yeah.
that's what this
Who
movie.
at the end. Yeah, I
This
love
movie
that.
introduces the traitors, yeah. And you
Yeah.
get Winter, the albino
Yes.
gorilla,
Yeah,
that's
that
the thought of
totally
this whole
fucks
thing.
everybody over.
Fucking Winter, which is kind of a
Dude.
racist name. If you look, if I'm up, you're dealing with a bunch of apes, and there's
Like
this
the
one rape
white
that's
apes,
a different color.
the white apes get fucked over here, man.
Dude,
okay,
really
so
bad.
That's
Yeah.
actually been my
Winter?
biggest nitpick throughout this 3 films. The fact that
It's the
all
white
the
apes.
gorillas, no matter what breed they are, they all fucking die.
Yeah.
And I love gorillas. They're awesome.
They do.
So like I was just so sad seeing every
Aw,
single
man.
time.
yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Uh.
If only Donkey Kong was here,
He
If only.
he would have saved them all.
Yeah.
Anyways, so so what's going on here, right? Caesar's on a mission to go kill Woody because
Yeah.
because he fucking
forgot
killed his
we're
wife
talking-
Killed his
and
wife,
his
killed his
and
child.
his
Yes.
son
His
bright
son,
eyes.
man.
I mean
Yeah.
blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
Blue
Yeah.
eyes.
And they're on a mission. They find out that they've all been going to this one place where it used to be
border.
a
Sanctuary.
sanctuary for the sick and everything like that,
Yeah.
right? When he finally gets there, because what happens beforehand is he sends his people as like, oh, because his son had gone on a mission. He found this place. Hey, I found this place. It's a paradise. We need to go over there, and that's where we make our new home. So he says, all right, everybody go that way.
Yeah.
And as they're going that way, the
all
humans
get
are also
captured.
kind of going in that direction. They kind of bump into each other. They capture all the apes, and they bring the apes into this place where now they're all caged up.
Yeah.
Caesar finally gets there and then realizes, hey, everybody's here and everybody's in cages. What the fuck's going on?
Yep. What happened?
Right? And then what happens is they capture Caesar. Right, so and then
Yeah.
Caesar and Woody have their little confrontation. Woody is very impressed by how smart Caesar is.
Yes, very impressed. And that's where you find out what Woody's true intentions are. This whole time you're thinking Woody Harrelson is the colonel of a military sanction that's sole purpose is to wipe out the apes and claim back that land. And you find out no.
No, he's
That's
in,
not
he's
what
in,
he's doing.
he's in conflict with his own people.
The other humans are not a big fan of Woody either. They in
Oh,
fact
Woody.
think he's a bit too extreme. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? And we're gonna take you down. So Woody knows this. So he's using the monkeys and the apes that he's
apes.
captured.
Thank you.
The apes
Sam.
that he's captured.
So
I
offensive.
know. What a fucking
Insensitive.
He's using the apes that he's
Racist.
captured
Yeah.
to fortify
So
this base that he
disgusting.
has, knowing that they're gonna attack, and then the attack happens, and that's you guys are just fucking just,
Morons?
You guys are I would go. This is just enough.
Enough.
Yes. So
Yes.
So
Where were we?
Caesar and his people are engaged, but you have Maurice bad ape who they end up meeting in the little journey.
I love the blue vest.
Yeah, and they're trying to figure out. They're trying to figure out, and Rocket, by the way, they're trying to figure out how to get all the apes out.
Yeah.
Before this other army of humans comes and basically fucking destroys its entire place.
But real quick, when you mentioned Rocket, I just wanted to mention the fact I loved how much of a role he had in this film.
Yeah,
because he was Caesar's first antagonist.
Yep.
That's
He
right.
was.
He really was.
He came around.
And the fact that he just stuck with him this entire... He was a little bit
Sacrifice.
sidelined in the second film, but like just how he came to play such a role within the third film and have everything bring come full circle. Nice. And I feel like that is something that isn't always like
used
well developed within trilogies.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, and I remember when I watched. So it's good that you bring that up because when I first watched these movies, I watched them when they came out in theater, and I didn't really watch them again in the gaps between the movies.
Right.
So when I watched the second one, it was hard for me to remember like, who is that? Who is that ape again? And then the third one, I remember thinking like, who is this one again? But when I rewatched them this recently and watched them in close proximity, right, in 2 days. It was very good. Like the fact that now I know who this ape is because I just watched that movie.
You recognize him.
The development is really good that I didn't really appreciate the first time that I watched it, and that's why I think the number 2 and number 3 are so much better in how they built from that first movie these characters and developed them and made us really care about them. The arc throughout the whole trilogy.
100%. I agree, man. I agree. I was no longer confused about who's Caesar or who the monkeys were, who was fighting who. It was just very clear. And that's what I loved about rewatching them over and over again. And that's why I'm excited about the next chapter, which, if I'm not mistaken, takes place like 300 or 400 years after this.
I believe it is 300.
Yeah.
Wait. Before we get into Kingdom, we talk a little bit.
Kingdom, yeah.
We need to finish off War because we haven't finished.
It ends with sadly Caesar passing away.
No,
but
before that,
okay.
The antagonist Woody.
Yes,
like he's barricaded, right?
Caesar is ready to kill him.
The North,
the
soldiers
God, that was
are
so well
bombarding
done.
the base.
Yes.
The monkeys have escaped. The apes. Sorry, wait, no,
Such
I apologize.
Racist.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
God,
the apes,
damn it! Why can't you just call them apes? What's wrong with you?
The apes have escaped, right? They've made it out of this danger zone, and the North is attacking, and the soldiers are trying to like, where the fuck is Colonel? Where is he? Why isn't he answering the door? Caesar, who goes back to confront him, fucking finds him laying in his bed with the fucking tequila bottle next to him, and he confronts him, and then that's when you get that realization that Woody's character, he's got blood on his nose.
That's
he cannot form a sentence. He cannot say a word. He's getting that same sickness that he killed his own soldiers for having.
His own son.
His own son. Oh, that revelation was also tough. And while he was doing the exposition in the background, you saw the picture of his son on his desk, and Caesar kept looking at that while he was talking about killing his own son. That was kind of harsh. But he succumbs to that same sickness, and then Caesar's faced with this decision of like fucking kill you and finish you off right now, or show you mercy, or maybe the other way around. Maybe killing him was the mercy.
Yes.
And letting him live was the fucking torture.
I think what Caesar realized right there and then is that this man is actually suffering more by keeping him alive. And actually, laying him, he finishes himself off.
It works in two ways. Like in the sense of like he kept his morality because he wasn't the one to kill him.
Right.
And he got to suffer even worse.
And he got to see him kill himself. So
he got everything he hated.
Worlds. Yeah, he became Koba, man. That's they touch on it in the movie, which is like
no, Caesar didn't become Koba.
No,
I mean he said throughout the movie he says like I am him.
I am Koba.
But because he didn't pull the trigger
in his vision,
he didn't pull the trigger.
And to go off of that again, like all these character arcs that Caesar kept getting throughout this trilogy, man, every single time. Like I cannot speak to how awesome the writers were to develop this, and how amazing Andy Serkis was to just keep this going, man.
Fucking Andy, man.
Like. and the fact that like we were talking about it earlier about like how much they're able to speak and how they're getting it out. How much more every single film. His speech became a bit more developed.
Yep.
And how he was able to present himself.
Him talking was
and
awesome.
And additionally, as we're nearing the end of the movie and Caesar ends up passing, we get to, if I may, real quick, just the fact that Maurice speaks for the first time to Caesar and just oh my God.
That was great.
Yeah, that final scene is very good. And it's very emotional, and it works really, really well.
Yeah.
I do want to say, what happens with Caesar is he ends up getting shot by that one guy with the arrow.
Oh
but
yeah, fuck that guy.
But that's an important scene because that's when Red Donkey, the character of this gorilla, who finally decides that he's going to help out. And basically, Bazooka's the guy. Yeah. But it's a great scene.
Like, I hated that character. By the way, it's a good thing because he kept giving you like this look of like, okay, it looks like he's like kind of like really thinking like he looked conflicted.
Yeah,
he did. And hats off to the actor.
Yeah,
because you kind of expecting him to kind of like feel mortified and actually make the right decision, but he was just a fucking asshole the whole time.
Yeah.
So his ending was comeuppance. For sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, he ends up getting shot, and it's a really kind of very well shot scene there.
The scene where he was shot was well shot. Yes.
And I'm talking about well directed scene because he's actually in the background, and then the foreground is Caesar. And you just see him getting like headshot in the background, and it's both sad and beautiful at the same time is what I thought about it. But yes, the final scene, I think it's a great final scene. They get to paradise after 40 years of traveling, through the Red Sea and everything like that.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
And then Caesar dies, getting his people to the promised land.
Yeah, dude.
And that's where we leave for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
It's almost like, for lack of a better term, like biblical.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Like he got them there.
Yeah.
Like, but he didn't quite
Moses.
get. He was.
He freed his people.
Oh my God, he was.
Yeah, that's what I was.
He got to take them there. He doesn't get to see it, but he got to take them there. He's freed his people, man.
Yeah.
Oh, they were lost 40
Let my
days
people go.
Yeah.
No, honestly, like there was that parallel for sure.
And there was also the plague, which it's also biblical. Yep.
You're not wrong.
All right. Do you want to talk about Kingdom before we grade our movies?
Oh, we're grading them. Interesting.
Yeah,
I think we should.
I'm excited for Kingdom. This is a franchise I did not expect to keep going.
Nice,
honestly, because it was tied up so well.
It's such a good movie. It's such a good ending. Yes.
Yeah, it was tied up really well. I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I didn't even know it was being developed until I saw a trailer for it.
Yeah.
But I am very cautiously optimistic. Hoping that they do take the same care and like they take with this trilogy. I haven't looked into who is like behind the apes, so to speak, because I haven't searched in order to avoid spoilers.
Got it.
But Freya Allen is in it from The Witcher, and she's awesome.
Nice.
But everything about it that I've seen so far makes me excited to get more of this universe.
Yeah, and I'm excited to binge this movie next week.
Yeah.
Same.
Should we let's grade the trilogy?
Ooh, all right.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I'm ready to grade the trilogy.
Let's do it.
So
Start with
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I would give Rise B+.
Okay.
I would give it a B+. I can't give it an A because of the absence of plot.
The absence of plot.
Places.
The holes.
Let's lock this
holes
into our
in the
great
plot.
calculator
It's not
here.
plot holes. It's just absence
Holes
of
in the
plot.
plot.
Yeah,
There's
holes in the plot.
places of the plot where there's nothing
All
there.
right, Ooblet is a B+ on
I
the
give it a
grading
B+.
scale. All right.
Oh, we're gonna go, and we're gonna go back around.
And then
Okay.
we'll average all three after. So it's
Like I said, when I rewatched Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I was very surprised at how much I thought this was better. I remember thinking this movie was really good, and I rewatched it, and I was like, wow, how did I not notice all of this?
Wrong.
But maybe I did notice, and I just couldn't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think the movie is overall pretty good. It's not a bad movie, despite some of its plot holes. And so I'm gonna give the grade a B.
nice.
This is the B?
Yeah,
All
just
right.
a B.
Okay, all right. I had a really great time with this movie. Yes, it has a little bit of issues here and there, but ultimately it's very, very nostalgic to me. I think it warms my heart the most. When I went to San Francisco for the first time, I looked out for little pieces of this movie.
Okay. There's that red bridge where they climb.
That red.
I was there.
The reddish
Yeah.
yellow bridge. What do they call it? The golden?
the
Oh,
tree.
that
Don't
one.
forget about that FIO shorts.
Yeah. No, forget about that one. Forget about that one.
That was the toys of the Burton movie, all right?
Go.
It's an A.
So an
It's
A.
an A in my book.
Fuck.
It is an
Okay.
Increased it. Okay.
Which
all right,
gives
then
us an
average to
average grade for the morons for Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
B plus.
All right,
B plus.
B plus.
Yeah, I
B
think
plus.
All right, now Dawn.
Dawn. All right.
I give Dawn an A.
All
Not
right.
an A minus. I give it a solid
A.
a solid 87. An A.
Did you pass, man?
I mean, yeah. A. I give it an A.
All right.
I will also give it an A.
Nice.
All right. Nice.
I
Nice.
think it's the best of the trilogy.
Interestingly enough, I also give it an A.
Nice. All right,
Which
do the
brings
math.
our average
What is
grade
that?
to
An
an
A.
A.
An A minus somehow. No?
Yeah, what the fuck? A 70. Get out of here.
That's another
Okay. All right, War.
War. Uble, you're
Uble.
going first.
Oh fuck, I'm first. I would have to give War because of it's the closure and it's the ending of Caesar's chapter. I cannot give it less than an A minus, so I'm gonna give it an A as well. No, I'm gonna give it an A minus. It's not less than an A minus. I said I couldn't give it less
All
than
right.
an A minus.
Okay. All right.
Giving it
A minus.
I
Yeah.
will also give it an A minus.
Nice.
Oh, 2 A minuses.
Look at you,
Interesting.
man.
All right.
And you know
all right.
what? I was trying to search. I was searching through my blog to see if I had graded these movies. They didn't make my top 10 in the respective
Wow.
years. But at that time, I didn't used to post all my honorable mentions and every grade and stuff like that.
Oh.
So
That's the
I
same
don't
year,
know
mate.
what
You're
I
lost.
gave them back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they might have improved over the years
See,
because
that. Okay.
with Rise,
have
I
the
thought
other
it was
ones.
Yeah.
better than it actually was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But with Dawn and War, I thought they ended up being better
They fell
than what I
short.
thought before.
Ah.
And so I think they might have jumped up in grade from when I
Nice.
saw them originally.
So that's actually a much
Rise
bigger.
went down, but Dawn and War went up.
That's actually a much bigger conversation. I actually want to have a full episode dedicated to.
Mm-hmm.
Is with the way we graded things when they came out and the way we've graded
Supposed to
them
know.
things since.
Time
Because
changes.
time
down.
does.
Yeah.
And when we did our MCU episode, which has yet to air, you'll see it one day, you kept going off of the grade you gave it back then.
Well, because I didn't rewatch.
No,
We're on a
and that-
tangent.
and that-
We're on a
and that's
tangent.
fine.
We're on a
And that's
tangent.
fine. But
We're on a
that is
tangent.
why I want to do an episode on something like that, on seeing how things develop.
Yeah.
And back to my grade.
Yes.
I
War.
give it an A. So that
You gave all three movies an A.
They are all
so
an
they're
A
all
in my
equally
book.
the
Hey.
same.
This is the only trilogy in existence that receives all the same
Damn.
grade. They're
That's
all
awesome.
A's to me.
In existence.
I'm happy to hear
In
that.
existence.
God damn.
Because every other trilogy bounces around a little bit, in my opinion. But yeah, so that brings an average grade of an A minus.
That's right. All right. So Rise of
You
the
guys
Planet
wanna
of the
do the
Apes
average of
got
the
a
trilogy?
B plus.
So we got a B plus,
An A.
an A, and an A minus.
minus.
It's
That
an A
averages
minus
out to an A
average.
minus for the trilogy.
A minus for
Oh,
the
yeah?
trilogy.
There you
All
go,
right.
everybody.
There you go.
Morons approved.
Morons
Trilogy.
Yes,
approved
it is.
trilogy. Go watch the
Yeah.
trilogy. I hope you guys enjoy Kingdom
It's
of
now
the Planet
streaming
of the Apes.
on Disney Plus and Hulu.
I
And
saw it on
Max.
Hulu.
What? You saw it on
should
Hulu? I
yell.
saw it on Max.
Fuck. Because you know what pissed me off about Hulu? And this should be outlawed, by the
Yeah.
way. Is you should not have fucking commercials in the
Oh,
middle of
let's
movies.
fucking
What
go.
tier do you have?
I don't have the non-commercial
Oh,
tier.
I have the non-ads.
Why don't you have Max? I watched this on Max.
They were all
It
on
was
Max?
on Max?
Yeah.
All of them?
What
no,
the
not
fuck?
all of them. The first one is on Hulu, but
All three of them were on Hulu.
The last
Dawn-
two are on Max?
Dawn and War are on Max.
Okay, I
no
watched them all.
commercials. Fucking great
I have
quality.
I have the non-ads tier. and
Honestly,
so-
I enjoyed it to the max when I was watching it. It was,
This-
it was
that
it was
should be
great.
included in the fucking puns.
No.
counter.
No.
Anyway,
no.
all right. Hey,
All right,
if you're planning
we're
on watching
done. Yes.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, now you're up to date. Now you're up to speed.
Yes.
Go watch
Thank
it.
you
We'll
for
be
watching
minting
this
it.
episode.
We'll be minting it next week, so make sure to come back. for
Tune
that
in.
one.
for that
Tune
one.
in.
Cliffhanger.
And also subscribe and hit that like button just so that you'll be notified when our new episodes come out. I would hate
you.
for all of you to be like, fuck, I don't know what's going on with Morons Mince movies. I haven't gotten an update. Oh, it's because I never liked and subscribed. Fucking like and subscribe, please.
That's great advice. Yes. And as
Thank you,
always,
Thank you again for all our new subscribers.
Oh, yeah. We're still
damn it.
thinking. All right. And as always,
Have a dark night.